The day billionaire Adrian Vale's twin babies were born was supposed to be the happiest moment of his life, a moment money could decorate with flowers, private doctors, and champagne, yet instead the luxury hospital wing felt cold and hollow, filled not with joy but with unbearable silence, because there were no cries, no movement, only blinking machines and nurses whispering to each other, and when the lead doctor finally spoke, his words fell like stones on Adrian's chest, explaining that the twins were alive, but their spinal injuries were severe, permanent, and cruel, leaving their tiny bodies motionless and their voices trapped inside. And in that moment Adrian, a man who had conquered markets and crushed rivals, understood for the first time what true helplessness felt like. The years that followed slowly drained the color from the Vale mansion, turning it into a golden cage where silence echoed through marble halls, where the twins, Lucas and Amara, lay side by side in custom beds worth more than most homes, surrounded by the world's best technology that beeped endlessly yet never healed them. And Adrian chased hope obsessively, flying in surgeons from Europe, neurologists from Asia, faith healers, experimental therapists, each one promising possibilities and delivering disappointment, until hope itself became exhausting, and his wife, crushed by grief and guilt, slowly vanished emotionally before leaving physically one quiet morning, whispering that she couldn't live in a house where time had frozen, leaving Adrian alone with his wealth, his regret, and two children whose eyes followed him everywhere, eyes that seemed to ask the same silent question every day: why couldn't you save us? Staff members came and went, unable to survive the weight of the sadness, until one day a small agency sent a replacement maid, a quiet woman named Elena, dressed plainly, speaking softly, carrying no confidence or demands, and Adrian barely noticed her because in his world, maids were invisible. But from the first day Elena did something no one else ever dared to do. She spoke to the twins as if they could answer. She greeted them every morning, sang gentle lullabies while cleaning, told them simple stories about storms, birds, and children who learned to survive when the world said they couldn't. And at night, long after her shift ended, she would sit beside their beds, holding their hands, whispering words no doctor believed mattered. And when questioned, she simply said she believed souls listened even when bodies were silent. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and nothing dramatic happened at first. Only tiny changes no one wanted to believe. Amara's fingers twitching once, Lucas's eyes filling with tears at a story about two birds who couldn't fly but learned to sing louder than the forest. And Adrian dismissed it as coincidence until one night he passed their room and heard something impossible, a broken, trembling sound that didn't belong to any machine. And when he rushed inside, Elena stood frozen, crying, as Amara struggled desperately, forcing air through her lungs to shape a faint, shaky syllable, collapsing Adrian to his knees because for the first time in 8 long years, his daughter had spoken, and doctors later called it spontaneous neurological awakening. Therapists called it unprecedented. But Elena quietly said it was love remembering how to reach the body. From that night forward, everything changed slowly. But undeniably, muscles began responding, sounds turned into words, silence turned into laughter, and the mansion that once felt like a tomb slowly came alive again. And when Adrian finally demanded to know who Elena really was, she revealed a truth that shattered him, that she once had a paralyzed son of her own, a child doctors said would never speak, never move, who died in her arms after whispering his first and last word, "Mama." And she promised that no child would ever be treated as unreachable again, breaking Adrian's pride completely as he realized the miracle he had searched for across the world had walked into his home quietly, without asking for money or recognition. Months passed, the twins learned to sit, then stand with support, then laugh freely, and the day Lucas held onto his father's hand and said, "Father," Adrian cried openly, not as a billionaire, but as a broken man finally healed, later telling reporters something that shocked the world, that money didn't save his children, kindness did. And though he funded hospitals and programs in Elena's name, she refused fame and left quietly one morning with the same small bag she arrived with, leaving behind a single note that read, Miracles happen when someone believes you are more than your condition, and today the twins walk, speak, and live full lives. While Adrian keeps an empty chair in their room as a reminder that sometimes the impossible doesn't arrive with power, wealth, or science, it arrives with patience, faith, and a heart that refuses to give up. And if this story touched you, reminded you that hope can come from the most unexpected places, then subscribe to this channel, because here we share emotional stories that prove miracles don't belong to the rich. They belong to those who never stop believing.